We know that all of the adults around our students have to also emulate, role model some similar characteristics. We call those the educator essentials. Not only do they have to have a deep core knowledge, just like our students, they also have to be modeling some of the characteristics that our own students and their voice called out. Not just reliable and have core knowledge, but they're prepared to also help them build some of those same skill sets.
My name's Isaac Cardona. So I taught middle school and I had about 140 kids, and each one of them was different. So it was over the course of the year getting to know them, their strengths, areas they'd need support with, and then really tailoring your instruction to that. So it was a lot of work just to meet each kid where they are.
My name is Dr. Keela Boyer. I have been an educator for 20 years now, which is hard to believe. I started right up the street at Astor in North Portland, and now I am the vice principal at McDaniel High School. As educators, we have to recognize and realize that they have to be flexible and resilient at all times. That has shown more this pandemic year than any other time. They had to flip on a dime. Like literally, we went out last year and said we were going to do a 2-week spring break, and then all of a sudden it was we're out.
Everyone kind of had to pivot what their roles were in the pandemic. Counselors, our custodians, our secretaries.
Out of the whole school, maybe some of the administration doesn't get enough recognition as they deserve, so it was always nice to say hello and thank them.
It really just comes down to every single person in a school building has the ability to impact a student's education, whether that's the custodian or the counselor or the secretary or the principal or those classroom teachers, and taking the time to say let's give space and time for them to really engage those students.
How do I balance out teaching my students and giving them the best of me while still being cognizant of the fact that I have my own children at home and I want them to have the best educational experience at the same time?
The school board adopted specific goals that we center the achievement, raising the achievement and social and emotional well-being of Black children and Native children, new immigrants who don't speak English, children receiving special education services in particular. Because we know if we put the resources in and work in and change our practice so that those children succeed, everybody will succeed. But if those children don't succeed, we are not succeeding as a system, as a country, as a people. So you can see it by where we put our resources. You can see it by how we talk about also not only the resources in the classroom, but how we teach and how the focus, the number one focus of our staff, our leadership, is what happens in the classroom so that we are supporting students, engaging them in learning, getting them the resources they need.
As we move forward as a district, I think there are some things we can learn from this current experience. For one, we were just pretty far behind in terms of technology that we had on campuses, in our classrooms, things students had access to. We're now closer to that 1-to-1 ratio for students to computers. And so we've been able to really disperse hotspots and Wi-Fi across the school district, which has been great for connectivity. I think as we move into the future, that's going to be so important and pivotal to really making sure we have 21st century learners on our campuses.
My greatest hope is that we keep the social and emotional learning of students at the forefront of our minds as we transition back into buildings, that we also are cognizant of we have to wrap around our families and wrap around our educators at the same time.
How do they have the requisite knowledge base that they need to be effective educators? And more importantly, how do we make sure all of our adults have an understanding of the realities that our students are living? And it's our job to help them uncover those gifts, discover that passion, and cultivate it. The commitment that I hold as an educator, which is my lifelong chosen career, is we want to make a difference.